So as we look at the good fats, a bit more on the carb side, when we have that certain carb intake, can you talk a bit more about the biology of what that's doing to us and how that actually translates to fat? So we consume something, creates a blood sugar spike, and how does that eventually lead to?
Sure. Yeah, so when you eat carbs, doesn't matter whether it's sugar or starches, everything turns into sugar.
Okay.
And the sugar is absorbed.
Yeah.
If the sugar is absorbed faster than you burn it, then your blood sugar goes up.
Yeah.
When your blood sugar goes up, that's a crisis for you.
Yeah.
And because that could kill you.
Yeah.
High blood sugar would kill you.
Yeah.
But you have insulin, and so insulin gets triggered by high blood sugar, and insulin drives the sugar into the cells.
Yeah.
And because you don't need it in the cells because it's happening too fast, it's all turned into fat, hoping that someday there'll be a famine and you can live off your fat.
Amazing.
Right? Because that used to happen.
Because we were hunters and gatherers, right?
To get fat had survival value. Because if you're really skinny and you have a famine, you die quicker than the fat guys.
Yeah.
Right? It's not unfair. It's not fair, but that's the truth, right?
Yeah.
And so then insulin drives it into your cells.
Yeah.
And turns them into fat.
Yeah.
And insulin is very good at doing its job. And by the time it's done its job, now you have low blood sugar.
Yeah.
Now you don't have enough fuel and your body screams, eat or die, right? And then you know by practice, the quickest way to do that is eat some more carbs. But the carbs take time to digest and be turned into sugar and be absorbed. So by the time that you've got your blood sugar back to normal, you've eaten more than you needed. And so you go high blood sugar again, insulin again, fat production again, low blood sugar again, cravings that make you eat.
Yeah.
And that's called the carb addiction cycle.
Oh,
and the carb addiction cycle has been measured in research to be 8 times stronger than addiction to cocaine. And cocaine is very addicting.
Got it.
And your withdrawal symptoms is the hunger, the cravings that you get. The gotta eat craving, or the shakes sometimes people get, or the owly moods that sometimes people get when their blood sugar gets too low. You need a stable source of energy. You don't need sugar, but you need a stable source of energy. Fats give you a stable source of energies, where carbs give you a fluctuating one. Moods change also when with your blood sugar.
Got it. Amazing. We call that the sugar spiral in our program, that we trigger that, and as a result we end up consuming more than actually what we need. And then it becomes quite desire-driven or conditioned into wanting more. Got it. Okay. Amazing. Beautiful to hear that. And talking about the historically and for Olympians, and even today I hear this load. So if we have a trek coming up on a particular day that we take people up Mount Kilimanjaro, there is a big ethos and use of this term carb loading. And it was used and endorsed by Olympic coaches maybe 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a bit more about carb loading. What truth is there to that? And what's the alternate?
Yeah, okay. Well, carb loading is a load of you know what. So carb loading was very popular for endurance sports. And it's a stupid idea. It's a stupid idea because it doesn't work. And here's why it doesn't work. If you carb load, you can only get about a pound of glycogen, which is animal starch, which is carbs, in your liver and your muscles. That's as much as you can get. And then you start running your race, and your carbs will always burn first. The fats are the second burner. So you run your race, you hit mile 20, and they're gone. Because you only get 20 miles out of the carb load. But your marathon is 26 miles. And the last 6 miles people would drag their butts. Those last 6 miles. Now you get to drink sugar drinks. So they've taken that out. But it's a mess. So what we did when we started working with oils, we said to athletes, you're doing it wrong. You need to carb deplete, because you want to run the whole race on carbs, but they need the fat burning needs to be turned on in order to do that.
Got it.
The reason why they hit the wall at mile 20 is the carb burning is finished, but the fat burning genes have not yet been turned on, and that takes time. So why not get them turned on before you start the race? And then we figured out, if you have 8% body fat, so you're pretty good shape, and your normal weight, if you burn half of that fat, So you still have 4% body fat because
Yeah.
you need some body fat.
Yeah.
If you burn half of it,
Yeah.
you could run 300 miles
Wow.
on that half of
Wow.
your body fat.
Wow.
So fat has always been
Yeah.
the main fuel for human beings.
Amazing.
And too much sugar is toxic. That's why there's a limit of how much of it you can fill your body up with. And there's even now some research that suggests that the reason why people in Africa survived in the early hunting days
Yeah.
was they could run down animals because they had more body fat, maybe let's say 8 to 12%, I think is pretty normal. For women a little more, up to 15.
Yeah.
But with that body fat, they could run 300 miles or more.
Yeah.
And the animals were only 2 to 3% body fat. They could literally run the animals to exhaustion, not because they could run faster,
Yeah.
but because they could run longer.
Amazing.
Isn't that interesting?
That's really amazing. What really comes to mind for me is in my transformation journey, I shared with you my photo, and I went from 35% fat down to 5.9%. And I keep saying this to people, and now over time, as I've taken my foot off the pedal slightly with my training and my nutrition, ever since we've had a baby, my fat percentage, I've allowed it to come into what we call the healthy range, which is for my age, between 11 and 19, but it's at about 15%.
Yeah.
But whenever I'm on single digit fat, so like you say 8% or 9, I experienced that I slept better, I sprung out of bed early in the morning, I had loads more energy, and the word lethargy didn't exist for me. So it's really interesting that you talk about that optimal fat percentage.
But there's also a too little fat,
Yeah.
because when women go below 4% body fat, their period stops.
It impacts their fertility.
Because fundamentally nature is saying don't have a kid.
Yeah.
Because in case there's a famine,
Yeah.
you ain't going to be able to bring that kid to completion.
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
So the mechanism gets shut off.
Got it.
I mean, there's a lot of wisdom in the body that
Yeah.
comes out of that comes out of making it work for survival. You know, the fact that we exist at all is like pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's why I tell people that our brain might be in the skull, but our mind is our whole body. Like I said, the whole body has wisdom, so it figures out, what it can do and what it can manage and what it's ready for, and it prepares itself for pregnancy or for war or for battle or for a famine.
But I wouldn't say that the mind does that. I would say life does that.
Life does that.
Right? Because in fact, we even have that wrong. If I say, "Who are you?" then you're going to give me your name.
Yeah.
And then your name is a label attached to your body.
Yeah.
That's how people can tell you from somebody else and get your attention, right?
Yeah.
But if I say, well, whose body is that? What's your answer?
Belongs to the world.
No. Don't be cosmic.
Don't be cosmic.
Whose body is that?
It's my body.
It's your. Everybody says this is my body.
It's my body.
But if you say this is my body,
Yeah.
then you're saying you're not the body.
Correct.
You're the owner.
Yeah.
Well, who owns your body? Well, the energy that weighs nothing, does everything, runs the whole show, called life.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. And then life created molecules, from primitive life, from way back, right? Primitive molecules, more complex molecules, interactions between molecules, all of that, then genetic program to as a plan for the structure that it's going to make.
Yeah.
All of that was put together by life, and all of it is always run by life.
Awesome.
24/7, doesn't cost you anything, never bitches.
Yeah.
Even if you hate life, it's looking after you.
Amazing.
Unconditional love. There is your absolute unconditional love.
All right. Talking of life and talking about what you said when we get to low fat percentage, about the impact that is to fertility, we have a lot of mums wanting to be, that come into our program, and they've been struggling with conceiving, or they've maybe had a baby and then for a number of years they've struggled. And after they've taken on their health, suddenly there's a baby boom happening in the household. Can you talk about the role of essential fats or cutting off carbs and overall health that contributes to, I guess, a more fertile environment?
Yeah, again, the issue is that life is kind enough that if you're not ready for a baby, then the baby often doesn't come. That's not always true.
Yeah.
But in the 60s, when people were very stressed and they didn't stay in places, and they had unprotected sex, and unbelievable number of women did not conceive anything in that time.
Yeah.
Because if there isn't a place to raise a baby,
Yeah.
there isn't a point to have a baby.
Yeah.
Right? When those women settle down,
Yeah.
pregnant.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Amazing.
It was a very interesting observation. But everything in terms of your stress levels is
Yeah.
a big one.
Yeah.
Because when you're stressed, you're either supposed to fight and run.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be breastfeeding babies
Yeah.
under stress.
Correct.
So it's important to create a situation of safety
Yeah.
for the baby, so that you can nurture it and you can grow it and you can love it and you can help it be successful. So that's one area.
Before you move on that point.
Yeah.
On that point, so what we find, and when we were trying for a baby and we were struggling for 3 years after we had a miscarriage, and it took us 3 years, we had to look at our diary and we had to block out time to be home by X time.
Right.
Because we thought we had grown to do a lot in a day, and we thought we're just leaders, we just take loads on. What we didn't get present to was we were actually straining the body of how much time was on the move, on the run, or its mind and attention needed to be somewhere. And the way I word it is our body was running on the fight or flight hormones. Internally, we've created this hostile environment, which to me is the opposite of fertile. But I would love to hear from you what you're saying. What are mums trying to be now? What should they be doing around what they take on in a day, or to de-stress, to be present, so that they're creating themselves as an environment for life to show up into?
Right. Well, the easiest way to deal with that, with stress.
Yeah.
Stress is always about somebody or something.
Yeah.
And you want it to be one way and it is another way. And then you get stressed.
Correct.
In fact, you're using that as an excuse to stress yourself.
Got it.
Because you could be in a situation, if you didn't care whether it was one way or another,
Yeah.
you wouldn't get stressed,
Yeah.
right? So we create a lot of the stress by our belief system, how things should be.
Got it.
So that's the one issue. You want to look at whether it's really that important that everything in the world is by your plan.
So there's an attachment to an ideal.
Yeah.
So give up that ideal.
You want to examine that. But
Got
the
it.
second thing is that in you, we talked just about life energy.
Yeah.
The life energy never gets stressed. It cannot get stressed. There is no such thing as stress in the energy that is life. It's indestructible, so it's not going to die. So it's not worried about dying.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not worried about dying, then that's the end of the stress, right?
Awesome.
And in behind that is an awareness.
Yeah.
That is the foundation of everything.
Yeah.
Everything comes out of that and grows and then goes back into it.
Yeah.
The whole cycle, right?
Yeah. Got
And
it.
that awareness, completely no content, presence yes, but content no,
Yeah.
cannot get stressed. The closer you live to that, both in quiet times and in stressful times, the less the stress will affect you. You do not have to take it on. And even if you're looking after someone and you find it stressful, you know what? You can look after people without stress. You can perform without stress. People think you need to be stressed and driven and fearful to do well. You actually, most of the time, don't do as well when you're stressed. So you can do what needs to be done, and you could feel joy in doing it, and you could feel nothing in doing it, and you could feel whatever you want to feel. Because what you feel is independent of what you do. Because you have 1,000 states of being in you. You can pick which one you want to live in. So you could always live your life angry no matter what's going on, or fearful no matter what's going on, or content no matter what's going on.
All right. Awesome.
Right?
Got it. So in procreating life, number one, you say is stress. The second one? What one is looking at examining
One is looking
our
at stress. The other one is
addressing it.
be in the place in
Got
you
it.
that is not stressable.
Okay.
Right?
And
we
nutritionally,
talk,
anything?
we talk like in the world, we talk mostly about work hard, play hard. Where's the do nothing? That's the part, And what is the do nothing? You sit down, you get quiet. Maybe you do it by yourself. I call it voluntary solitude.
Yeah.
And you just hang out with yourself. And when you do that, your mind calms down because your mind gets agitated by change. right? So your mind calms down,
Yeah.
and you begin to feel what it feels like to be alive. And you discover there never was any stress in any of that. It's only what you got in here and processed here,
Yeah.
and then got involved in.
Got it.
Right? So stress is to a large extent manufactured.
Yeah.
It's manufactured by people who want you to run their agenda,
Got it.
but you also manufacture it yourself
Yeah.
because somebody told you that that's the way you should live.
Got it. Got it.
The truth is, if everybody on this planet, in 8 billion people, sat down and did nothing for a day, nobody would get murdered, nobody would have a car accident. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of those things that happen, there would be no
Yeah.
war.
Yeah.
Just for one day, do nothing. And I'm saying that a part of your life, as important as everything else, is that you deliberately make time to do nothing.
Nothing. Amazing.
To become everything.
Amazing.
And it's an experience I'm talking about, right?
Okay. Got it.
But it requires you to take time with yourself.
Great. So on that, with regards to, say, boosting fertility or our health, what can we do nutritionally?
There's research that shows taking vitamin C helps fertility. But literally, if you took any one of the 50 essential nutrients,
Yeah.
so there are 18 minerals, 13 vitamins, 8 essential amino acids, 2 essential fatty acids.
Yeah.
If you became deficient in any one of those,
Yeah.
that could make it impossible for you to conceive.
Got it.
Why is that? Because they're all required
Yeah.
for making babies.
Okay.
They're all required for making adults too,
Yeah.
right? So, and then if you don't drink enough water, that makes it more difficult. And
Yeah.
if your body becomes too acidic, or you get inflammation because you're eating garbage food,
Yeah.
right? You can't, you can't make a baby out of garbage,
Yeah.
right?
And
Again, lucky for us, right? So since your baby is made out of food, water, and air,
Yeah.
and you are made out of food, water, and air, the question to ask is, if you want to have a baby, not just to satisfy yourself,
Yeah.
but that there's also something in it for the baby,
Yeah.
right? Is that you want to find out what is the absolute highest standard I can set for how I eat, how I drink, how I breathe, without being neurotic.
It's beautiful you say that. We tell people that it's 5 pillars we look at, and mainstream we're being told the story of exercise, and that you think you exercise do, but say we even go and exercise, start going to the gym, you spend an hour a day, what are you doing the 23 other hours? Right. And we invite people to really look at how they eat, how they sleep, how they think, and how they breathe. Yep. Because each of those have a trigger from emotional to our biological state to our physiological. So
Yeah.
really beautiful to hear it that way.
Yeah, no, it's true, and we talk about activity being really important. The body was made for activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? To keep that in balance, it was made for activity,
Yeah.
and then it was made for time off and rest,
Yeah.
and sleep and repair.
Yeah.
And the time off is as important as the time active.
True.
So we don't do active well,
Yeah.
and we don't do the other one well either.
Yeah. We neglect that one completely.
And then we, sometimes, and then because if we're physically not tired because we haven't used our body,
Yeah.
then we go to bed, and then we're thinking all night because we can't go to sleep, because it's like we haven't done anything. The body is a physical instrument for physical activity.
Yeah.
And when you don't do anything with your body, and in the way we live, we don't need to do anything with it. Well, then you have to force yourself to do something with your body.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do something with your body falls apart, you can't sleep properly, and you get zombed out.
Got it.